In America, African Americans was once slaves, and their masters were Europeans, and they used the Bible. They so-called went to church. You know what I mean? So people say they stole the slaves. How they steal slaves from a whole continent, like from a whole nation? They was sold. They was sold, and yes, they was treated wrong. That's hands down. It was wrong. It was evil, but they was sold.
Why do you think in the Bible they think that it's a racist type of book? Like, why do people think that, man?
I mean, if you go back in history, history would tell you, in Americas that it was once, African Americans was once slaves, and their masters were Europeans. So, and they used the Bible. They so-called went to church. You know what I mean? So, and they used the Bible, and the Bible talks about, slavery, or they use the term servitude or servant. So, the masters at that time, they used what they had a strategy, of keeping the slaves, in check with the Bible. And so that's one reason. That's one of the main reasons, especially in America, why they say, that the Bible is racist and it promotes slavery and it came from a white man, and, that type of stuff, and it's oppressing, and,
But is the Bible racist?
No, not at all. Like,
Alexa, you agree with him? Is this the one issue that your husband is slipping on?
Racist. No.
Yeah, Mike, you agree with us? Or do we need to disfellowship you from our church?
I agree. It's not racist.
All right, cool. There's this one verse, though. There's this one verse here that really makes it seem like the Bible's
Okay, let's
racist.
hear it.
So, Exodus 21, 20 through 21.
Mm.
All right? If a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand,
mm-hmm.
he shall be surely punished, notwithstanding. If he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money.
His money.
That sound like.
Do I need to read a different version for anybody?
That don't sound like King James. But no, I know what you know. I know what you're saying though. I know
King
what
James
it's saying.
wrote that.
Yeah,
He's the author of the...
he said he wrote that. No, but no. I mean, yeah. If you look back in history, I know I said that already, but yes, one thing God always, when you look at it, God is talking to his people, right?
Grab it.
He's talking to Israel. And he's talking to the people of God. And he's telling them, if you have a servant, I think that same chapter talks about both servitudes of Jewish people and then servitude of like foreigners, people that's not of God, or not Gentiles, to be simple about it. But if you have a servant and your servant do something, maybe like disobey you, you know what I mean? Or do something that's very like hideous or whatever you may say, and you discipline that servant. If you look at the context of that, and even looking before that verse, and even after that, it even shows you that God said if a man, just hurt a person, like if you kill a man, he's supposed to be punished. But if you have a servant and you're trying to teach them and they do something wrong and you discipline them, but you go too far, you get what I'm saying? Then yes, you gotta pay that requirement or whatever. But at the same time, this is no different from, you got Catholic schools. Still to this day, if you go into Catholic schools as a child and you do something wrong, the teacher can hit you with a paddle. You get what I'm saying? So it's my mother kind of dealt with that, you know what I mean? Like, in the sense of, like, she went to those kind of schools, you know what I mean? Being raised by,
Oh, she did?
Yeah, like Catholic, you know what I mean? And
You could not look like
And
she's
they-
so surprised.
and they discipline you. Not that they beat you to death, but I'm saying, like, they will discipline you being
there's a lot
children.
of kids in schools that got the paddle too.
Yeah.
So it's just not Catholic.
Yeah, but that's where I learned it from. You get what I'm saying? I know they just private Catholics, but I'm just saying that's where I heard it from, learned it from, or whatever. But even though kids ain't servants, but nonetheless, they in that role of being like you supposed to listen, you supposed to obey. You get what I'm saying? And that's the same difference of a servant
A
and
lot
a
of some
master.
kids, man, they might need to bring that paddle back.
These kids showing out.
Mike didn't get no paddle. We can obviously tell.
Yeah,
But
yeah, not
yeah,
him.
we need to bring the paddle back.
Yeah, but that's my point right there. It's just to say that because it's saying you could discipline your servant. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't promote, because like I just said, the verses before and even after goes against you just harming a man. You get what I'm saying? So it's not in the context of what it's talking about. It doesn't promote just abusing your servant. But him being a servant, nonetheless, you could discipline him.
So summarize it. Like what does it say after? Like what is it talking about?
Like
if you go into it, you don't have to like quote it, but just
yeah. No. It's like a line drawn. God is line drawn, and you know what I mean. A servant with a master. That yes, you could discipline your servant, but have a line drawn. You just can't beat on them. You get what I'm saying? They are human. They are, and they do save money. Which I think we're gonna go into it with the other questions you probably have. I'm gonna probably wait till then to go more into it, but it's a difference between a bondman and just a servant. And then you got hired servants. You get what I'm saying? So when the Bible says certain terms, he's getting at certain kind of servants. You get what I'm saying? And you just got to watch out for that when you reading the verses, because you may think like, hold up, they just slaving whoever they choose and beating on whoever they choose.
they're thinking about that specific instance where the word slavery was used in an extreme way, but they don't understand the word slavery can apply to workers.
Yeah.
You know, like we are technically, by the biblical term slave, a
Yeah.
slave at our job.
Yeah, we're slaves,
People
yeah.
literally use it that way too. They'll
Yeah.
be like, man, I was slaving away. Like, and they think they're like, are you really thinking like, oh, the boss man was torturing you at work today?
Right.
Like, not really. Like, you broke a sweat that day.
Right.
You know what I mean? You
Right.
was slaving.
Yeah.
Like, they'll use that word to describe that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just, that's what I think about when people say that it's very difficult to even bring it up, because they're like, no, I do not believe the Bible, because that word slavery, like God condones slavery. I'm like,
Right.
bro, you do not even know what the word slave, like, yeah, it's like, oh, you're okay with slavery? It's like, I'm not going to start by saying I'm okay with slavery. First, I'm going to explain what slavery is. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with it. Like, whoa, what? That's your white side talking. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to give nobody the wrong impression. But no, honestly, this is how they'll look at me. Or if
Yeah,
I say
I
stuff
mean,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
They'll be like,
yeah.
they'll categorize me as, oh, you associate with, you know, and people are always assuming like, you know, I don't know, they just assume race about everything.
Yeah.
Like, this is racist, that's racist.
Right.
It's like, you know, I feel like I get the best of both worlds, so I can truly see, you know, from both sides, like,
But
like that
racist.
connection, and like, okay, is this person racist, or is this person just like misunderstand a culture or misunderstand somebody, and then you get offended because, you know, you come to me, and it's like when you speak about when you see someone that's Hispanic and you say, hey, are you Mexican? And I've heard somebody say like, why would you call me? I'm like, I'll change, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about being respectful and being polite.
Right.
But it's like, I didn't know that was offensive. But I'm not racist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because I have Mexican friends. No, just like, no, but I'm not racist because I just didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just cultural differences. Will, if you don't understand somebody, you will assume the worst about them.
Yeah.
When they see the white boss man walk into the building, they already think, oh, he got the plantation mindset.
Yeah.
Sometimes I done seen some black people that's got that mindset, and they just, hey, get this done. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and it's really like, it's a perspective thing, you know. At the end of the day, it's like people read the Bible, they see the Bible, and they know what it was used at one point, how it was used, and they associate that like, oh, so that's what it's for. but they never open the book. They never read it themselves. They never learn and study the word and see, oh, wait a minute. When God said this, he was talking to his people only. He wasn't telling the world how to serve or get servants. He was telling the Jews how to serve. You get what I'm saying? And how to get servants. And if you know what you know the history of Jews, you know, I ain't no black Hebrew Israelite. But yeah.
We're gonna get into that today.
But
How he converted from being like
but that's what it is, a perspective thing. So when you see servant, slave in certain terms like that in the word of God, it's whoa, hold up. Or you see abuse, you like, hold up, I saw what they did, you know, down in Georgia in 19, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's what they doing? Like, no, because if God say that at one point about a man abusing his
well,
servant.
that's not what he was condoning, but
yes,
they had that going on.
Yeah, like he told him. He said, "Don't do it with rigor." You get what I'm saying? He told him, "Don't."
What
What
did you just say?
I don't know. I said
Don't
rigor.
say it no more.
Okay, no, I just had to clarify.
I'm joking.
Hit
But
that,
no,
hit that button again, just so we know. Hit that button again, just so
yeah,
we know.
I thought I said something
I
bad.
was like,
All right, we
excuse
just
me?
gotta make sure.
Oh man,
We go ahead, Alexa. You want to read some of these
I
comments?
usually
for
don't
us,
mess
though?
up my words.
We're
I'm
gonna have
not that
Alexa
kind of
read
guy.
comments because people think I'm biased. We calm down.
They're really not talking about anything. Carly is racially biased.
Why don't you
can
scroll up some?
I
Mike?
can agree to that. Yes, the bro shoes.
Move the mouse over to the and scroll up with the. You know
That-
how you got a wheel? Yeah, just
Okay,
kinda,
there we go.
You can use the instead of the wheel.
I should have probably put my glasses on because I can't see nothing.
Can you see it?
Yes,
She
I
She
can
can.
see
She
it.
could definitely see it.
You ain't gotta
Clear
read
as
all of them,
water,
just kinda-
thumbs up.
Bro Shoes said clear
Mike
as water.
sounds sad.
Bro Shoes said Mike sounds sad. And then,
He's sad.
yeah.
Jesse, he's talking like he just got broken up with.
Yeah, Lee, boy.
The bro
What happened?
shoes
No,
want you. The bro shoes want you to do an ice
We're gonna
bath.
get into that later too.
Oh wow.
Ice bath for a minute?
Yes.
What in the world?
Jesse said
Oh,
3
heck no.
minutes.
When I get to
No.
5,000, I might do that. Not for no 1,000. Not for 1,000 subscribers.
It ain't enough.
We
So,
can't hear at. Oh, we fixed that. And yeah, that's about it.
You couldn't hear me at first? What happened?
I don't know. They said they can now though.
My mic was low? Is it still low?
No,
I don't know what happened. That's weird.
I can hear you.
All right, cool.
I seen it earlier though.
Well,
caught
I think
you.
we're good for right now. We'll try to get into the comments and keep it consistent. And all right, so let's go into bondmen. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44 through 46. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, slavery, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, and them shall ye buy, and their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. So just like owning
yeah.
slaves.
Owning slaves.
And ye shall take them as your inheritance for your children after you. Your children are going to inherit the slaves? Wow.
Mhm.
To inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. That's what you
That's
said.
what you were saying.
I said rigor.
Be
Yeah.
more clear. 'Cause we do not want to promote racism on this show.
We are talking about race though.
I mean, I'm not playing. We really don't. The tone was a joke.
He was playing.
And oh yeah, it says Carly was
Racially
racially
biased.
biased. Bro shoes.
Yeah.
Well, that means I am too then, because
No, she
oh,
yeah.
you can give me a little less headroom, bro, on mine.
She's different.
Yeah, that's good. No, bring it down a little bit more. Perfect. And Aliana says, "You should know the Bible, Ashley. I quiz you. It's a heart covering it up. I quiz you. Cruel season
I
for a
quiz you.
reason. Quiz you
Oh,
for a
okay.
reason.
I quiz you
My
for a
contacts are doing okay. I might need an update in a minute. So yeah, bro.
Oh, so that
You're
verse.
gonna own slaves. Your family's gonna inherit slaves.
Yep.
Like, how's that okay?
It's not. We fell.
We
But
fell.
no, seriously.
All right, we'll end the show here, guys.
But no. So that verse. First of all, Always. Always. In the Bible, anytime they buy, they get a servant, take of a servant, get a bondman, it's always consensual. They never kidnap anybody. They never take anybody from anybody. You basically got to agree with them. And that's when you become either a bondman, a servant, a hired servant, whatsoever it be. But it's a consensual thing. But a bondman is different from a regular servant. That's what it's getting at. God don't want his people taking bond servants of their own. You get that from the Gentiles. A bond servant is bound to whoever takes them forever. You get what I'm saying? Which it says in the verse, obviously. So, but it's nothing where it's like, oh, you can't breathe without me, you can't eat without me type thing. But it is consensual. You get what I'm saying? He said, but if you take of the heathens and they become your bondman, they are forever. You get what I'm saying? But they're gonna agree to it. It's nothing you kidnapping, and it's plenty of verses both in New and Old Testament where it say men stealers shall be killed.
Now, what type of forever? Because you know the word forever.
Yes, it could be a perpetual thing.
Is it until they die? Is it that type of forever?
It depends on the context of the verse, because you got to put, like I said,
when we look into the Sabbath, we'll study the forevers.
But that's a perpetual thing, because perpetual mean it could be so long that it seems like it's forever. It's not actually like forever and ever. You get what I'm saying? Like he said,
if it's eternity, you can't get around that one.
Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Everlasting. Those kind of terms, it just let you know it's never gonna stop. But forever in the Bible don't always mean even till eternity. It doesn't mean that. It could be a perpetual thing. So in this sense of the verse of what it's talking about,
for sure, like what that means, you know.
I mean, no, because
the context probably in there, but people assume like
yeah. They'll look at it.
They're gonna be your slaves, but
they're your bond slaves.
Like, eventually, they're not gonna be here no more. So,
you know, he said, take from their children. He just saying, continue in that manner that I told you. You don't take from anybody, and the word "take" doesn't mean like, once again, kidnapping or taking slaves, enslaving people.
It's like
that
taking a wife. Because the wife consents to the marriage.
Exactly. But you keep it in their family. You don't go outside the Gentiles' family. Like he told him in the beginning, you don't go to the Jews and be like, you my bond servant. You get what I'm saying? But actually, if you keep reading, if you keep going down that verse, he actually tell you how to treat the stranger. He said, treat them like your family. You treat them like they're part of you. You get what I'm saying? So it goes against the whole idea of what the Americans did, you know what I mean, in the South and wherever else, how they treated slaves, you get what I'm saying, they servants. It's nothing the same. And it's always consensual. Nobody kidnaps anybody from a nation or anything like that.
So what are the different types of slavery that you bring up that you were talking about? Like, usually you have like when we talk about slavery, you kind of go into like, yo, these people explain slavery like this. So, but you kind of give usually like a list of like, you got slavery like this, you got slavery like this, like kind of go into some of that.
So you got servants. You see that a whole lot in the Bible. They usually just say servants. And usually a servant is once again, all is consensual. You get what I'm saying? But you get a servant. They could be serving you for the sake of, because they're poor. You get what I'm saying? I become your servant. You had times in the Bible that literally they became servants to the king because they wanted to be in the king's palace. You get what I'm saying? Why would I be out here? I'm starving. I'm barely making it. So I'll make myself a servant. To who? To people that are well off. And I become a servant. But it's all consensual. Then you got hired servants. It's only for like a situation. It's not forever, or you gave yourself to be a servant. It's just for that situation. That's more of like what we are today, hired servants. It's consensual. You're gonna, as long as you keep coming to work and doing this and that, I will pay you. You're a hired servant for the situation, but you can leave anytime.
And they call that a slave.
It's a servant, but it's translated slave.
So a job.
Yeah, you
So
like
the second one would be kind of like how it was for the 200 years before the civil rights movement, the black people.
You talking about, so when they went to Europeans went to Africa,
where they got fed, they were I mean, it's not like I'm not saying that junk was cool.
Yeah.
Please don't think I'm saying that.
They got.
I think
I'm
that was-
just trying to categorize it
I think that was kind of different
because just pearly things got toe up. Like that is not what I'm saying.
because they
They got things.
they was sold. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And when you sold into a people, you become that bond servant.
I guess they were treated like pets. Well,
They-
I can't just
I
say
mean,
that.
they were treated
Probably
horrible.
worse because it's
Way
like,
worse.
You can't even compare it to that.
But that's
Yeah, it's hard to.
they became bond servants. They was sold to a people.
Because those type of slaves were in the Bible too.
Oh,
but
yeah,
just
oh,
the
yeah.
ones that God don't condone.
Yeah. Like you don't treat people like that. You get what I'm saying? And the Bible it doesn't justify, it doesn't condone it, doesn't say, yeah, you can do that. You know what I mean? But yes, what happened in America, how they went to Africa, and people say they stole the slaves. How they steal slaves from a whole continent, like from a whole nation? They was sold. And yes, they was treated wrong. That's hands down. It was wrong, it was evil, but they were sold. And once you're sold into a family of nation or whatever it be, now they could just, you get what I'm saying? It's not right, but they treat you, you're my servant. I'm your master. I'm gonna do how I please. You can't just leave. I'm gonna feed you how I want you. I'm gonna whatever I want. And that's how I've been even since the biblical days. You know what I mean? But God taught Israel, he said, don't do as the nations do, the heathens do. You get what I'm saying? He said, when a stranger come into your land, you don't treat him no different than your brother.